Forefathers under the leadership of Murzika, Murthanga, Kalphunga, Shankapa and Khunghuna once settled at Arbudapzol, a few kilometers from the present Lungthulien village. They did not stay long in this village. After a few years, they looked for a better and healthier place of settlement. They came to a place called Khurpui, where there was a perennial water pond. It was during their stay at this Khurpui village that they erected the 3 big trivets in 1852 for the purpose of holding a big public feast. The approximate weight of each trivet is more than 4 or 5 mounds. This is to show that the Hmar ancestors were at that time very big, tall and strong. It is said that Kublal Songote of Parbung, well known for his strength throughout Manipur and beyond, could lift the big trivets one by one with the least effort and put them back to their original places. This much is clear that the Hmar ancestors erected the trivets purposely to mark that they once lived in this part of the country. With the beginning of their contact with the British at the later part of the 18th century AD, some section of the Hmar clans lived at Hunte, place between the present Senvon and Lungthulien. In 1924, a bigger number of Hmar clans, along with the Singsun clans of Thado tribes, moved to Konzar, which came to be known as Senvon later on. At the same time, another batch of Hmar clans went to join their kindred tribes who had already settled at Lungthulien village. The story goes like this. Once upon a time, there lived a young man called Zakap at Arbudapzol village, not very far from the present Lungthulien village. Zakap was a very handsome, gentle and kind person, but as his complexion was dark, he was popularly known as Vawmpa. At the same time, there lived a very beautiful young woman called Zausil at Lohoi village, which was not far from Arbudapzol. Zakap and Zausil loved each other very much. Zakap was a successful hunter and a very brave man. He used to go to Lohoi village to woo Zausil. Soon, their love story could no longer be kept secret and became the talk of the town in both villages. Zausil's parents felt very embarrassed and unhappy with the village gossip. Under these circumstances, Zakap and Zausil decided to run away and take shelter at this high cliff which is now called Vawmpalung. They used to have a laugh play here and there in the cliff and sometimes sat on its top flat stone under moonlit night. At the middle of this cliff, there are 2 protruding flat rocks facing each other at a distance of about 1 fathom length, and there is a very deep chasm in between the 2 and beyond. As per the oral tradition, which is passed from generation to generation, Zakap and Zausil used to have jumping competition on the protruding flat rock of the high cliff. There is also a flat rock which looks like a bed in this cliff where the 2 lovers used to spend the night together. On close scrutiny of the cliff, one can also find a hole where Zakab used to keep his gun. But the problem for the two lovers was that they could not separate even for a moment. Finding no other alternative, the two lovers finally jumped and fell from the high protruding flat rock and died deep down on the ground there. Though handsome, Zakab had a dark complexion and was nicknamed as Vawmpa, and the rocky cliff is known as Vawmpalung till today. So the present Vawmpalung is a standing reminder of the undying love between the two lovers, Zakab and Zil, Vawmpa and Vawmnu, like the Taj Mahal of Agra. Well before the present Parbung village was established in 1865, various clans of Hmar like Pakhungte, Sanate, Inbun, Ringsete, Mirimate, and more had already settled at the upper part of Ralon, and a small section of Thado tribes headed by a Singson clan occupied the lower part of Ralon. As conflict and misunderstanding often broke out between the two tribes over land and boundary, the place came to be called Ralon, meaning fighting place of warring warriors. This coincided with the ongoing Hmar-Lusai War, 1876 to 1880. Pastor Khurpui, a famous Hmar hymn composer, was born and brought up here at Ralon, Hamlet. Most prominent among the Hmar warriors at this time were Hlova Sanate, father of Rangsing, Buna Inbun, Vungdang Ringsete, and Hanga Mirimate, who had played a crucial role during the Hmar-Lusai conflict, and it was actually Vungdang Ringsete who went as far as Saitul village in Mizoram to chase and to take revenge on Saisa Hall, another famous Hmar warrior under Poi Boy chief Mizoram, who killed Manga, the younger brother of Vungdang Ringsete. We cannot ascertain now as to which particular warrior this memorial stone belongs, but we are certain that the figures and images engraved on this stone clearly show that this man was an exceptionally valiant warrior and hero. If you go a few kilometers towards the south of the present Parbung, you will come across a very steep mountain popularly known as Lungthulien, a mountain of melancholia. From this mountain, you can have a clear view of the dazzling Kailam cliffs on the east and the plains of Silchar with wet rice cultivation. The place was called a Mountain of Melancholia because standing on this mountain of high altitude, one cannot but feel melancholic and nostalgic. Just below this mountain lies a big rock on which different types of scribbles and images can be seen, and these are not easily decipherable because most of the marks were engraved in pre-Christian era before the people knew the art of writing. After people learned alphabets, lovers or individuals who climbed this mountain and visited the rock below wrote down abbreviated names of their lovers, and as you can see it, the rock is rightly called a rock of melancholia. This Zolung was erected at the old Khurpui village, located at the high Khurpui range, locally known as Khurpui Tlang, about 1 kilometer just above the southern side of the present Senvon village. On the basis of oral tradition, we can say that the Zolung was erected in 1897. There were about 60 households in this village, which was founded by Chief Tula Pulamte. It is said that Khurpui Lal in Bun was Khungpu Zailak when the Sikpui festival was celebrated. Later on, Khurpui village merged with other villages like Munte, Lohoi, Pamchul, Satrik, forming a single composite village at Konzar, which later on came to be known as Senvon today. It was during the time of Chief Kamkolun in 1910 and on his invitation that Watkin R. Roberts, a young Welsh missionary from Wales, UK, who was then at Aizawl, Mizoram, came to Senvon with his native guides, Thangkai Vaipe and Lungpao Vaipe, with several porters on 5th February 1910 to preach the Gospel of Christ, which was a great milestone in the history of Senvon in particular and of the Hmars in general. Therefore, Senvon is today known as the seedbed of the Gospel, which soon spread throughout the length and breadth of southwest Manipur, Khuga Valley and even beyond. The present Zolung was erected at the old Khurpui village where the last Sikpui festival was celebrated in 1897. From time immemorial, when the Hmar forefathers began to take to agricultural activities, they usually made wooden mortar. It is strongly believed that the people of Khurpui village made a cavity on a solid flat rock for husking rice for the special occasion of the Sikpui festival in 1897. This involved a very laborious work because it required using iron tools and it was not easy to make a cavity on a solid rock. Perhaps this kind of stone mortar was made for a common purpose like in Chong and Sikpui feasts. On such occasions, young men and women joined together to do the corporate work like husking of rice, because a huge quantity of rice was required for brewing zu, and that too was to be done well in advance. Every Hmar family had its own wooden mortar, which they carried with them wherever they migrated in the past. Lud Lungthau, son of Thangzangur of Khurpui village, was a very successful hunter and great warrior who achieved the coveted title of Thangsu, which was a title given to a man who had distinguished himself by killing a certain number of wild animals in the chase and by giving a certain number of public feasts called Inchong. The possession of this title, according to Hmar pre-Christian beliefs, was a passport to paradise. Lud had as many as 7 wives and many children, including slaves. The memorial stone was erected to commemorate Lud's outstanding achievements for which he was recognized as a Thangsu. The height of the stone was about 107 inches, 17 inches thick, and 9.5 inches breadth. The stone was a living testimony of Lud's outstanding achievements, wealth, and innumerable treasure. He possessed 4 guns, 1 big gong and 3 small gongs. The pictures on the high monument also depicted that Lud killed 3 elephants and 2 wild mithans. One of the wild mithan's horns is still kept at the house of his great-great-grandson's house at Mulvaipe, Tuichapai. Lud also took 6 enemies' heads, including 1 captive of a small girl who later on became a part of his family. Hmars at this time at Khurpui village did not know the art of reading and writing, so Lud's name was engraved on this monument by a person who was hired from Mizoram, and the man was given 1 small-sized gong, darbu, for his work.
ก็คูเลตุยหอยวยซูนุนาคุมทัดคุมเอ็งมังเทยคูนูมัลสมนาอันยาตุเลยจุนเฮงันหุนทราสิกปุยโรสิกปุยลามฮีคุมตินลหินในเทนลาโนมินลาคมเอในเทงไงนัวตูคุมคูนูมัลสมนาจังอินบุลิบาลมัลสมนาตั้มตักเอดงเลยินวยซูนนี่หินสิกปุยลามอินเอเทนเอยุมันนี่จุเลยจุนอินลัลนูกันุมให้กูมากับอิสิทราจูปุยเบลสมเลบุรจูลามท้ายตัวไอ้ขันหังโดนดินหังพิสุกกะเจียวปัสสาวะกุตะหุนกันหลานนิโรเซผมโวยโรเลนเลโมรับเท้าฟ้ารักิบเตเรสมาเนเสียงกิทาเรสายเลียจารีเอคลางเนกันดนาเวดูนานาบังดิลสวาเกรัมทอนินลุงเฮร์นาโมเอ